Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Sagas of the Shimmering Seas. This is The Chosen View. And wow, let's just jump right into it, I think. Who cares? We didn't level, right? No, great. Excellent. Let's just jump right into it then. And we came back from the planet of Dregmont, where we saved, maybe, the Circle of Elia and are solving problems for them constantly. And it was great. It was fun. We had a good time. There was a whole rebellion. We took out some generals. We saved some prisoners. We disrupted some supply chains, all that good stuff. And came back because the Empire offered us a deal, and we wanted to report that deal. And now we are back on Isaim, our own planet, where we've been having some discussions. I think part of the session will have like a if anyone wants to check in with any of their people in on around. Oh wait, no, we're going to the moon. Sorry, we're on the moon, aren't we? Cool. Let's go to the moon and meet Asha. My bad. My brain is totally a little all over the map today. That's okay.
Although I think before we take off, I think Nova is gonna like flag down one of the like officers or someone
Mhm.
who works and is responsible
Mhm.
and say, oh, before we go, uh, can you track down this little girl named Esla?
Pardon me. What?
Okay, so there's this little girl named Esla. She doesn't have all her fingers. That'll be a dead giveaway. And she lives. She's kind of like an orphan, and she lives in this like city compound. You'll be able to find her. It'll be fine.
Uh, okay. And what do I do once I have found her?
And I just give her this, and Nova hands over like a large container of money.
What looks at it? What is find the homeless girl named Esla and give her pile of money.
Yeah, just in case, or maybe okay, maybe better. Maybe hold on to it for me, and if I don't come back, give it to her.
I'm very confused, but that seems par for the course. Hold on. How much money is it?
Like like enough for her to live comfortably
Mm-hmm.
for until she's like an adult. I think we have a lot of money.
Yeah,
I don't know how much
yeah,
currency
that's
that
fine.
is.
That's totally fair. No,
Yeah, like I
that's
don't
the
know
right
how
way to
much
talk about
money that actually is,
it. Mm-hmm.
but I think we are like astronomically wealthy for some reason.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm down. Um, yeah.
Yeah, just so that she's taken care of, you know?
Mm-hmm. This is a lot of money. Okay, sure. Find Esla, give her money. Don't give her money. Find Esla if you die and give her money.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, this is very a lot of money, and what do I do with the money?
Oh, you can hold on to it. It'll be fine.
What serious question? What's to prevent me from just walking away with this?
Oh, I'll find you.
Are you gonna? Okay. Yeah, roll an intimidation check.
Yeah.
Well, I'll find you.
All right. Yeah, this is definitely not Nova's best thought out plan, but
You know.
this is what's happening. That's a 12.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's see. Do I have anything I can add to this? I don't think so. Nope. That's a 12.
Nice, nice. Okay. Uh, sure. No problem. Um, I should find her first to make sure that I know who she is, so that if something goes wrong, I know who she is.
Yeah.
Okay. He turns and walks away from you, very uncomfortable.
I think I just like I find one other person who's like, hey, watch out for that guy. I just gave him a bunch of
What?
money.
Huh? What'd you say?
Yeah, watch out for that guy. If he becomes suddenly wealthy, take him out for me or something.
Uh, are you sure you don't want to be asking like an assassin or something?
No, no, no. You'll do.
Okay. She looks at you and she's like, okay, okay.
All right, have fun.
Okay. Fair enough. There's that. We'll see how that works out for you long term. No, we just created a spin-off series. Okay, absolutely. Anyone else have anything that they want to run by when they're down here? Just curiosity. First time back on ECEM at the, you know, Grand Accord for a while.
I'd be curious to know if Bale is around or whether he's on the moon.
He's on the moon. He goes back and forth a little bit. Okay, well then I think we will jump forward to you guys getting on a ship. And you guys get on a ship with someone who is oh so charming.
Oh, we did have this scene.
We did have a scene on the ship, yes, a couple of
Yes.
a brief couple of details on the ship, as it were.
Mm.
Yeah. So so he gave selects a gift from a mutual friend or from a mutual friend slash admirer. And you guys started the ship took off. And you know, this is interesting, I guess, for some of you. Some of you may find this interesting, I don't know, but ship starts flying. It's like a airship just starts going up and leaves the planet. Nothing untoward happens. It's not, you know, the real world. It's a fantasy world. And so we've got ships that can sail the stars. You seem to have air and breathing and all that stuff. Yes, of course, scientists.
Does it feel like like we've been on airships several
Mhm.
times in
Yeah.
like both the one that we originally were on that got like
Destroyed.
destroyed, and then also we had the smaller one in um that we got from in the Kava,
Mhm.
and then we hijacked another one that we crashed into a an office.
Yeah, you guys in airships have an interesting history, don't you?
What does it feel like being in an airship that we've been in before?
It feels and looks exactly like that.
Okay,
Just keeps going up.
interesting.
Scientist Timothy, you seem to have a question.
I think more for John.
Hmm.
For my own mental picture, when this ship takes off, does it take off vertically like a rocket like a helicopter, or does it go like an airplane?
Yeah, so the airships in this world have pretty consistently what they do is they have like about 80 feet of vertical lift, and then they have horizontal direction. So they take off, and they've always taken off like this.
Like
And it's
Millennium Falcon style.
yeah, Millennium Falcon style. So and then it just goes up and then just doesn't stop going up. All the airships that you've been in have like at some point you guys have leveled off, and there's always been sort of this assumption that you couldn't go higher, but actually you totally could have. You would have run into the into the covering before the covering was down, but you could just leave. All the airships could leave. There's nothing special about this airship. It has always been able to do this. Cat's Grace talks to you a little bit, and he says, well, you know, the nature of this whole thing is that each object has its own pull, and each thing sort of pulls on things around it, and this ship just pull. I don't know if you know anything about this, but the term is sometimes referred to as gravity. Every object has its own gravity. You have your own gravity. I have my own gravity. This ship has its own gravity. And with it, it pulls some of the air with it. So there's this large bubble of air around us. And the ship has what's called a gravity plane. So it's a flat surface beneath the ship that functions as its gravity plane once we are outside of the planet's gravity plane. And that just works so that we can, literally. And he like walks over to the side of the ship and jumps off the edge. And then you hear footsteps like toot, 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 running, and he comes and pops out the other side and jumps onto this side. And literally, you can just run around the ship.
That's Grace. I was going to say that this lecture was dry even for me, but then that demonstration was quite nice.
I know. I stick the charming in there right at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kinetic part always grabs me too. Are we just a separate question? Are we out in open space yet?
Oh yeah.
So we don't feel a change in. I don't know if Narash would really know how to anticipate this, except that he has been on a space journey and his ill-fated crash landing on Eastine.
Yeah.
But I think that he would. I mean, if it operates this way in this universe, I think that he would know that normally, if you're on the outside of the ship, there would be a vacuum or it would be cold or something.
Yeah.
Are we not experiencing that?
Not at all. The air bubble around the thing is larger than the thing. If you get outside the air bubble, then you will. But the air bubble itself is like just is broad enough and open enough that like you can run around. That there's space. It's really like there's about the larger the object, the larger the air bubble. And when you leave the air bubble, you leave the gravity well, or the gravity plane of the object as well. So you guys probably have like with this airship, you probably have about a 60-foot leeway on either side. You could hop off the ship and fly about 60 foot out, and then you stick your hand out, and your hand would be in a vacuum, and it would suck, literally. But here for now, you're good. That everyone have sort of a broad understanding of that, more or less.
After watching Cat's Grace run around the ship like that, I think Kumi is going to see if they can throw a grape like around the ship, and even better if they can like hit somebody coming the other side.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's see. Yeah. So why doesn't Kumi make a dexterity check?
Okay.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. So who does Kumi pelt?
I think Cat's Grace.
So Cat's Grace is just like there. Yes, of course. I am. Yes, of course. I add in the charming right at the. Ow. Who did that?
And yeah, it's obviously Kumi. Like, they are they're like dancing a little bit on like at the other edge of the ship where they had just thrown the grape. Yeah.
Kumi. Selecta. Would you kindly keep control over your friend pet?
Oh, they've got a mind of their own, I think.
I can tell clearly. Yes. So as Kumi has so kindly demonstrated, you can in fact play catch with yourself. And takes this grape that was thrown at them and just throws it off the edge, and waits, and then catches it on the way back. See?
Okay, well then, in that case, would foreign objects have a hard time entering our air bubble, or would that pierce it and cause it to break?
Well, the biggest problem that we have, the air bubble itself won't break, but if a foreign object is larger than us, then its gravity well will replace our gravity well and beat our gravity well, as it were. And this leads to, all sorts of problems.
So what happens when we approach the moon?
We'll join the moon's gravity well, and then we'll have to, readjust everything. That's why we approach it at a low angle. If you don't, then you will, you will crash on the ship, on the, moon very fast.
Got to take notes, Narash.
Narash is like feeling very uncomfortable.
Is that what happened to your ship?
Well, I don't know if it really worked so much with gravity wells. I think ours was more a kind of plant-based fuel propulsion. But yes, I haven't always had the best experiences with interplanetary travel. You see, I'm more of a kind of a swamp homebody, I think you'd say. And Narash is kind of like looking at the receding planet and looking a little more green than usual.
I totally understand where you're coming from. I myself am not a huge fan of, any kind of space travel. But if you want to explore more of the universe and see more of the worlds out there, then you kind of have to do a little bit of space travel, So it's 6 one, half dozen of the other, a little bit of trade on, trade off, whole thing.
Yeah, I suppose that makes sense. I'll try to accustom myself to it. And Narash kind of like stands there swaying a little bit.
I mean, think about how well it has worked out for you, right? I mean, you got to come to Isaim, you got to meet these wonderful people. They came back and helped you free your planet. Also, not the least of things, not the most things, not claiming it's most of things, but you got to meet me. So clearly, like this is worked out great for you. I mean, I'm not saying that a crash was a good experience for you, and I'm sorry that you did crash, but I promise you, I am an expert pilot, and I will not allow you to crash into the moon.
Well, thank you, Cat's Grace. You've elucidated the benefits very, very clearly, as always.
Yes, Nova, you were asking.
So if you're the captain, who's driving?
The steering wheel. No, sorry. No. It's all much of the process is we have a small crew that helps with various aspects of the running of the day-to-day ship. They're very experienced.
So you don't really do much, do you?
I mean, I do the steering. I did take off.
Okay, all right. Just ask.
I don't do much. What do you mean I don't do much? I am the captain of this ship. I run this vessel with a stern yet guiding hand. My crew loves me.
Does his crew love him?
Roll an insight check. One of them behind, like, just sort of turns and raises an eyebrow and then goes back to work.
You're right. They do love you.
Absolutely. And you know why? It's because I'm charming.
Okay, so to clarify, this is your ship, yes?
Oh, no, it belongs to the Dragon Watch.
Okay.
It's on loan. I'm captain and I am now a captain in the Dragon Watch.
Okay, this is their ship.
Yes.
Okay, but still, the point still stands. Everyone, are there any places that are strictly off limits that, like, were we to go to them, would be punishable by curses?
Punishable by curses. Oh, you do you know Masha?
Yes.
No, I don't curse people. I don't believe in curses. I don't like curses. Curses are the worst. I'm quite happy not being cursed, and I would prefer never to be cursed again. And curses are bad, and I don't approve of their use. They are despicable and cruel, and they smell. Have you noticed that they smell? People who are under a curse smell. I am just a little bit, and yes, no, breaking curses is what we do, not enacting them. No, there is no place that is forbidden on this ship. I guess your personal quarters are forbidden from other people.
Cat's Grace, it's clear why your crew loves you so much. It's the calming influence of your constant flow of your conversation.
Yes.
Yes, it just continues in a calming way for seemingly endlessly. But I have a question for you. As I'm looking out kind of to the surrounding space and environs, are we safe from attack from the Empire in this ship? Does it have battle capability?
We have multiple flamethrowers, but mostly we're safe from the Empire because we're far away from the Empire right now. The trip from a planet to its moon is relatively short and won't be a huge deal. If we were actually meant to go against the Empire, we would need to arm up a little bit more. Hopefully, we'll never come to war with the Empire, though, right? Right.
Right. Right.
I mean, just a suggestion. If there were any movers and shakers of import upon this vessel, I would encourage them to steer us, away from war. Because yes,
Out of game, do we know if Cat's Grace is completely up on what our circumstances are, why we're going to the moon?
he probably is aware of most things broadly, more or less. He's got spy written all over him in big letters,
Mm-hmm.
Not good for his line of work.
Well, it works out.
Because he's so charming.
It's
Yeah.
indeed because he is so charming.
Oh, those letters on my forehead? People point to those all the time. It's just a funny birthmark.
Indeed. I think I forgot that I met you actually when you were cursed, Celexa.
Oh yeah, that was. I don't know. I thought rather unforgettable. I am with you in that I would rather not ever go through that again.
Yes, sorry, I meant not that it was a forgettable experience, but merely that I forgot that my circumstance of meeting you was under the effects of your being cursed and me being someone who was pointing you in a way of removing said curse.
Oh yes, indeed, that was.
Because curses are the worst.
They.
I met someone.
But you speak as though you know from experience.
I will neither confirm nor deny, but I will say that I once knew someone who was a lizard folk who was cursed to have nose hairs grow constantly. And let me tell you, lizard folk don't have nose hairs. And so I felt. What?
No, I'm just saying that. I mean,
Wait,
Narash,
you're
you're younger than I, but back me up here, right? Like, as you get older,
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of half scale, half hair. We don't like to talk about it.
Yeah.
There are procedures.
Okay, well, truly you have befuddled me here. I am dumbfounded. Nonetheless, this was someone who was in her mid-20s, and so it was young, I would presume. For am I wrong? It's young, and like when I say they would grow constantly, I do mean like a foot of hair every day out of the nose, and that's just I mean that if you're gonna curse someone, that's just cruel, Like it's inconvenient enough. It grows a foot a day, You have to like walk around with trimmers every day, all the time, you know.
At least curse someone with mutton chops.
I have a friend who could pull them off.
Well,
No, you don't.
He pulled them off. He definitely pulled them off.
Like literally?
No, like they worked for him. He was doing good. He looked good with mutton chops. Let's be real. Mutton chops are it was a choice. I'm not certain I approve of it, but he pulled it off.
it is a
Truly, truly a person of many gifts. Apparently, that is a rare gift.
It's a thing. Well, I should probably go captain some more and be captainy as I captain my captaining.
Aye, aye.
If anyone has need of me, I'll be in the front deck area with the steering wheel thing. There should be a name for that. Is there a name for that?
The helm?
Right, helm. I should know words about ships that I am in charge of. Yes, I'll be at the helm. If you have any need of me, just shout. I can hear you. It's 30 feet that way. Just walks that way 30 feet.
Anyone
Anyway.
else with confidence slightly shaken now? No? Yes?
And I think captain's more of a title than an actual job.
Ah, okay.
And if we do crash, we all have experience. We know what to do.
Yeah, we all have experience
We have,
crashing.
we have a good crash track record. You're right.
Yeah.
We have a great crash track record.
All right, so who wants to poke their nose in every corner of this ship?
I do.
You
At
do?
least I asked, right? It's good to know the rules and expectations. So now you probably won't be cursed.
Sure.
Yeah, I probably won't. That's pretty good. Pretty good on a chip.
Pretty good odds on a ship. Okay, yeah. I mean, you're searching the whole darn place? That's the plan. Yeah, sure. Roll an investigation check.
Both of us, or
Yeah, why don't each of you roll an investigation check?
okay.
You divide the ship in half.
Oh, yeah. Look
Ooh.
at you.
Wow.
Nice. What do we get? Actually, I'm not even looking. There we go. 11 and 23. Yeah, I mean, I think this is like a pretty straightforward ship of shipness. There are some doors that are locked because the crew has like personal quarters areas and things like that. If you want to break into them, they're no match for you, Ami. If Thea wants to break in and start stealing things, like feel free. I'm not, like these are pathetic locks. But no, everything feels exactly like you would expect above board. The weirdest things you find are this sort of it's a room off the side of, so we've got the main underroom where there's this chair that is powered by Earth's blood. Again, that's sort of normal, but then off that there is a small room that has like a cold stone altar in it, and the altar has carved on it one large circle, and then around it one like small circle, and then one tiny circle. And yeah, it's well cared for, and it seems to be like a place of some significance. Even if it's off the side.
I'm just asking, would this be some sort of dragonborn relic or altar?
It certainly has religious vibes to it, I would say.
Can I
Seems to
do
be
a religion or arcana check?
absolutely.
Oh, surprisingly not that great at that, but here we go. That's a 12.
Yeah, I think that your knowledge of religious iconography realizes that this is a very stylized depiction of Isaim and its two moons, Thothru and Tikuru. And like there's some sort of holy significance around it. It seems like something that they care about and take care of. You notice that there's candles in the room, so probably some sort of light ceremony would be common here. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Beyond that, everything sort of functions and feels like a normal ship. You do find a cabinet that's filled with Earth's blood, little Earth's blood vials, as we are now prone and used to. Yeah. Anyone else? Anything? No. Okay. So travel continues. It's oh yeah.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just gonna say. I think that
Yep.
Selexa's
So
taking
travel
some downtime. Selexa's taking some downtime.
Yeah. So we've got some downtime. Everyone sort of chills. If you are short a couple long rests to get up to full, feel free, because it's a 2-day journey to the moon.
Oh,
So,
I thought it was like 3 hours.
oh, was it? Shoot, my Maps
Yeah.
disagree with each other. This is my bad. Cool.
Because we only have like
That's right.
so
we only
much
have-
time
yes.
before we get to.
No, you're totally right. Sorry. I have the maps of the universe changed on me.
Well, the moon does travel, so
Right. The moon sometimes is really close and really far away. We know that that means that it's a difference of 3-hour journey versus 3-day journey. That's just the way it works in the universe. That explains all of my
100%.
inconsistencies.
Consistency, yes.
Yes.
Well, one question is, while
Mhm.
is Alexa able to discern anything about her gift while resting on the ship?
Absolutely, you can discern things about your gift. Yeah. Which we've got here. This gift is a coat. Sorry, is a cloak that is right now perfect for your size. But seems to be but doesn't really fit your vibe or your style in terms of its beauty. It's got a little bit of chaos around it, and like oddly bright colors, and weird shapes. It's very plant or organic-y is what we would say here.
Interesting. It's kind of like it's a little funky, is what I'm hearing.
It's a little funky.
A
Yeah.
little funky. Okay. It's a funky cloak. All right.
Yeah.
Is it like does it seem like old? Is it like worn or like tattered? Does it seem like I don't know what besides just the design, what else can I
Yeah.
tell them?
It seems well cared for, and it doesn't seem it gives you old vibes in some sense, but it is very well cared for, and it hasn't worn at all. It's definitely magical, and definitely has like, in addition to whatever magical properties it has like magic to prevent decay.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, well, I think that in the spirit of accepting this gift, she will, despite it being a little bit funky, she'll probably she'll wear it anyways. So she'll try it on and attune to it over the course of the.
Kumi seems really interested in it.
Oh, okay.
And starts like playing with it.
They're like looking at it or poking at it or like climbing up into it or
all of
something.
the above.
Yeah.
Kumi puts it on and
taking
runs
naps,
around like
taking naps
hero.
underneath it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then like ties it around Kumi's neck and like runs around the room with like a cape on. Basically, it's a cloak, so it actually could be worn like a cloak, but no, they tie a knot in it to make that work.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Kumi, I think, comes up to you and just says, "It smells nice."
So Alexa says, "Wait, oh, what? Oh, okay. I just want to be clear because I'm Alexa is a little bit stunned right now. Kumi doesn't usually speak.
True.
Okay, just making sure we're on the same page with that.
Yeah, Kumi very rarely speaks. This is maybe the second or third time you've heard Kumi speak ever.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So Alexa says, I hadn't really noticed. And she tries to smell it. Does it smell like anything?
No. It smells like lump.
Well, Kumi, I'm glad that you like it. Oh, also, it's worth noting, of course, that Celexa can only see it through Kumi's eyes. So I don't know if that may or may not look any different that way.
No.
But, okay.
No. Kumi like holds on to it and looks at you pleadingly, but you can't really see it because you're looking at it through Kumi's eyes.
Like okay. Does it fit Kumi?
It's a little big,
Okay.
but
Well,
not that
you
big.
can. Okay. Well, then Kumi, you can have this for now. It. I think it looks. I think if you like it, then you should have it. For
Kumi
now, we'll
is,
see.
like,
We'll see. You
very
have to take good
excited,
care
yeah.
of it. You have to take good care of it.
Mhm.
Right.
And Kumi
You
is
have to
like
make sure to
very
you can
excited.
only have it if you keep throwing grapes at Cat's Grace.
Yeah. So Kumi like runs around the room and then like goes over to a trunk that's like, a big heavy trunk. And just like very casually lifts it up.
Okay. Well, Kumi, don't break anything, okay?
Nods and just puts it back down.
um uh
It's weird having the experience of someone whose eyes you are in nodding at you.
yeah, I'm sure. No, it's very well, I think Celexa has actually had to do a lot of, because Kumi expresses themselves so much through like gesture.
Mhm.
Celexa has had to really get used to like seeing her world like spin around and move and things like it. Yeah. She often loses her vision when Kumi like just goes and does their thing for a while. But
Yeah.
yeah.
How does she like? Is that stressful for her when that happens, or are you like resigned? I'm curious.
Yeah, I think that it is. I think that she when Kumi is gone, she often feels like a little bit of like panic. And so she's been trying to like get them to stay, but I mean they're such like, they're they they're very like energetic and curious, and and so I think she feels like bad about having them having them literally park with her every minute of every day. So she's just been trying to get them to stay around as much as possible, but she wants to let them go sometimes, and when they do, it's scary.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. So while Kumi is wearing this, Kumi has different stats and more abilities, basically. It's a little thing. It basically turns Kumi into a little mini aberration. That can.
Kumi is a little mini aberration, that's for sure.
That's that's the vibe I was going for. So, yeah. There you go.
That's exciting, and I hope that it seems like Kumi's having fun already, which is the most important thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So for I'll post this for you in chat. I'll post it in Celexa, but there you go. Basically, that's Kumi's stat block while wearing this. And that is Kumi, and Kumi is now that. Awesome. There you go. Okay. So a couple hours later, Cat's Grace says, "I'll handle the landing." You hear from the helm, and takes control of the steering wheel and guides the ship in. The moon, which from the ground is just like this gray blob, but as you approach it, you realize that there's like this thin sheet of reflective something, crystal, glass, who knows? That's probably about a mile, a square mile on the moon. And the airship is coming to land like right next to it. And Entering into the moon's gravity plane is a little bit of a jolt, but then you are there and you land smoothly on the moon. And a figure is standing outside your ship, waiting for you calmly. And as you guys exit your ship, you see Balethal there. And Balethal looks at you all and says, "Hi, welcome to the Dragon Watch, and Asha would like to meet with you. So I'm here to show you to her." Doesn't really smile, but just sort of turns and walks. And he walks towards this massive reflective crystalline sheet. And next to it, at a rock formation, he just reaches forward and he grabs something on the rock and turns it. And the rock sort of slides back, and there's a staircase down that is revealed. And he just looks at you guys and says, "Come," and starts walking down. And I think as he says that, Cat's Grace shouts, Bale, do you want me to come too? Sorry, not you, obviously. Does Asha want me to come too, or should I stay with the ship and do the ship captain things? And Bale replies, you can stay with the ship. Great, happy to stay with the ship. I'll stay with the ship. I'm gonna stay with the ship, guys. Good stuff all around. Fare thee well, and take care of yourself, everyone. Stay cool. And he turns and walks back onto the ship. Bales just closes his eyes and please follow me. And he starts walking you into the moon and down the steps. And after about maybe half a mile down through this narrow, windy hallway, it's well lit. There's all these crystals that are giving off light on every wall. And on the way down, he's very quiet. And then gets to a door and opens it and says, "Prepare yourselves." And he opens it, and before you see towers made of crystal. Each one has a dragon or two or three inside of it that you can see. There are gold dragons and silver dragons and blue dragons and red dragons and bronze dragons and amethyst dragons. There's all sorts of them everywhere. And they all seem to just be, hanging out inside of these large crystal buildings almost. Down on the ground where you guys are, there's some dragonlings, young dragons, wandering around, and one of them looks at you guys and says, "Holy Willikers, there's people here. There's people here. Did everyone know that there are people here? There are people here. Like people. Like people. Oh my God, you're a person." And like the dragon just comes up to you like on all fours and like starts like looking around and starts sniffing you a little bit. "Did you know that you're a person? What's that like? Can you tell me what it's like to be a person?"
I think Narash is like casting a quizzical eye at Bale.
Mm-hmm. Bale looks at you. Says, "Feel free to answer."
We are, very broadly speaking, people.
Wow.
I thought, yeah, I kind of got the impression from Bale over here that we wouldn't be such a novelty
What do you mean?
to dragons. I mean,
I've never seen a person before.
Oh. Well, meet the crew.
Hi. Wow. Hi. My name is really long and unpronounceable, but people call me Claptrap because of how annoying I am.
Very self-aware as well.
I'm not that annoying, I want you to know, but they do call me that because I'm annoying, and I have to say that I'm annoying, otherwise the old one over there gets mad at me. So, hi. Wow. what's it like being a person? And like it just starts going over to Thea, and like it starts like sniffing you, and like kind of like I think it opens its mouth and like bites a piece of your hair, not like just like starts snipping at it a little bit, not like chewing anything off, but just like, like, wow, that's hair. That's weird.
You should ask before you do that.
I should do what before I do what?
You should ask before you do that.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. By G Willikers, and backs up and like looks at you and bows formally from the neck.
If you want, you can touch my hair. And I just handed my braid a little bit.
Yeah, it comes over and like gets up on the back pawn legs and like very paunchy little dragon, and just starts like grabbing your hair and like starting. So do all like person's hair grow like this?
All right. Oh.
Oh, sorry. Did that hurt? I didn't mean to cause you hurt. Hurt is bad.
Turns out if you pull on the hair, it hurts the head.
Really?
Yeah.
Like goes down and starts pulling on its own claw, and Bale like says, "Okay, Claptrap, go study." But there's people here, Balefall. There's people. I wanna see the. Bale just gives this look, and Claptrap's fine.
Oh, Claptrap, we do have a friend who's really good at answering questions. That's Cat's Grace up on the surface, so I'm sure he'd be really happy to talk to you for a long time.
I don't want to talk to Cat's Grace.
Oh, you know Cat's Grace.
I do know Cat's Grace.
Oh,
he's
okay.
mean. Did you know that he's mean?
You got to move on. Really nice to meet you. Just thought, okay, never mind. Yeah.
And charming.
He is not charming. He does magic tricks and then won't tell you how they're done. And storms off. I apologize for Claptrap. That is not the impression that I wish you had of the Dragon Watch, but nonetheless, they were here. So, shall we continue? And he walks forward and past several of these things, and you notice that the dragons in these crystals, like they're not paying attention to you officially, but they all sort of glance at you out of the corner of their eyes, not infrequently. And when you turn, you frequently notice like their eyes move the other way. They're watching, but they don't want to make it seem like they're watching. And you are eventually brought to another door, and it's opened. And before you see like a huge amphitheater, and made entirely of crystal. And the top of the amphitheater is crystal as well. And it's much too big an amphitheater for any practical purposes for you guys. The stairs are huge. They're not even really stairs. They're like giant blocks or whatever. And it's very clearly like this is an amphitheater for people who are like, A, are huge, dragon sized, and B, have wings and can fly from place to place rather than having to walk from them. But in the center of this amphitheater on stage, sort of near where you're entering, because you're sort of entering from backstage, is the largest silver dragon you've ever seen. She is grizzled and ancient, and just like there's something very just you sense the presence of power within this creature. Well, get over here. Oh, sorry, you were saying.
Does she feel at all familiar?
What are you curious about? There's a possibility, but I'm curious what you think.
Didn't we meet Asha already in the library once? And I'm wondering, I don't know if this is her, but, yeah. And I don't know if it is her. Yeah. I don't know if we would recognize her. That's
You met her daughter, definitely.
Okay.
Yes. Her daughter complained about her a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. And just to be really bad because I was like, oh, names, they should be associated with each other if they're families. Her daughter is Ashra and she is Asha.
Okay, I don't know how I could possibly have been confused.
I have no idea how you could have confused that, Slexa / Nika. There's no way. There's no way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying that. I appreciate
No problem. And
it.
yeah, and Ashra is the one who is Cat's Grace's ex. Okay, Asha is not. And so Asha like looks at you all, and I've been informed that you have questions.
Well, hello, Asha. Maybe I will start.
You're the druid?
I am indeed the druid from the Circle of Elia in Dregma.
Right, the Dregmian druid from... Got it. Yes, hi.
Hello. Thank you for welcoming us. When we met the representative of the Empire, he referred to us as the chosen few, or at least to my companions and maybe to me. Do you know what this means?
Yes.
Do you suppose that you could tell us?
No. Maybe. Probably, but we need to do more research. Here's the thing. The Empire seeded your planet with mythos a while ago and have been manipulating the planet through your mythos for a while. And it's difficult to determine which parts of the mythos are truly yours and which parts of the mythos are actually imperial plants. And so we don't know whether you actually are the chosen few, whether the chosen few ever was a real thing, or whether it was merely an imperial plant to get you guys to take down the cover.
One of the reasons we're here is we thought that of anyone who we might be able to speak to, you might know something about the Empire's home planet.
Capital.
Yes, where we've been invited as the condition of the return of Dregma to its sovereignty. And we need to know more.
Sure, I have information. I've been to Capital. So, you know, I can speak.
The we were invited to a, what did they call it? Was it a party, a ball, something along those lines? I'm wondering if is there a particular place where such a thing might be expected to happen?
There's a couple options. Depends on how important they think you are, or and how much they want to impress you. But I would anticipate, and I could be wrong, but I would anticipate the Hall of Lords as being the most likely location. It's part of the west wing of the main palace.
Would, if it comes to this, would you be able to help us to visualize a place there enough so that we could travel there if we needed to?
Sure.
Either to guide us in
via a teleportation spell.
well, something like that. Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. And she pauses for a second, and then like her big, meaty, like heavy silver claw just like comes up, and she starts twitching her claws a little bit. And those of you that can see suddenly see like a palace around you with statues and marble. Everything is very rude. Yeah, she just creates an illusory terrain around you that is exactly the shape and color of the palace, so that you can see it visually.
Um, thank, thank you. We don't know yet. Um, we the Empire has offered us transport, and we are not sure yet what our plans are. However, we know so little of the Empire's history, and we don't know if they're prone to betrayals, and
Yes.
or if
They're
so we
disgusting, awful creatures who are prone to betrayal, backstabbing, manipulation, and evil.
so
They're
we should not take them at their word on anything.
Yes, that sounds good. Also, they've been known to meddle. She says this with like such disgust. They've been known to meddle with time itself. So I wouldn't, generally speaking, we've put a stop to that for this point in time, but it is something that they've done before, meddle in history to affect the present, and that is the most annoying use of magic that anyone has yet devised. Let me tell you, it is just frustrating beyond belief, which is why we do not do that here. Yes, absolutely awful. Why? Yes, you're the Prion one, the desert dweller
Yeah.
with the evil sword.
Evil. I don't know. He just likes destroying things.
Yes, and he's good at it.
Yeah. So I assume you are aware of our search to put together a certain person from
Sure.
artifacts.
Yes.
Where are you aware that Princess Allura has one of these artifacts?
I was informed of this very recently, as in yesterday. Since then, we've been able to put scryers on it who have deduced that she is wearing it as a pendant around her neck.
Great. Yeah, we're gonna need that. So, do you have any tips on how to get that?
I am not a thief. If you have need of one, I have a friend I could call.
Thea?
Are you talking about me?
I don't think I'd refer to you as a friend. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd never met you before, so I was confused. But
no, no, I have a friend who is the leader of a criminal organization on Isaim.
Not that that Masha person, is it?
No, his name is Goss,
Goss.
and he runs an organization known as the Fingers. They're a criminal organization. They're not that active in your continent, the Shimmering Seas. They're more in the Eastern lands. Yeah. Sorry, they're not that common there, but I do know him. If you're looking for a thief, or he might not go himself, but his wife tends to go.
I kind of look at the team like, do we need a thief? We kind of have a thief.
I answer only because you asked.
Thank you. Thank you.
Not out of any desire to pressure. I'm sure that your thief is adequate.
Thank you.
Not
Yeah.
that psionics are as good as magic, of course, but whatever.
Celexa nudges Thea in the ribs, and she says excitedly, "Did you hear that? She called you adequate."
Thanks. Yeah.
And there's also the other piece of Illumina that is in a undisclosed location that's heavily guarded. Do you know anything about that?
I'm aware of its location. It was reported to me. It is not far from the wellspring in Abarak, as they are prone to. And it seems to be set up specifically to protect the unworthy from gaining access. Trials, tests, proof of worthiness, typical religious mumbo jumbo.
All right. Well, that sounds fun.
Yes. Back in my day, we had to do that sort of thing. Sometimes it was fun. We fought through an entire dungeon once to get to a sphinx that then teleported us back in time. That's where I developed my hatred of time magic.
Huh.
Sphinxes, they're the worst.
Okay.
Mm.
We left an emissary from the Empire on Dregma.
Mm.
Do we remember who that thing was?
Well,
Y'all broke up. I didn't hear you.
Quell.
Quell. Oh
Queller.
yes.
Yes.
This
The queller of something.
yes, this Quell.
Queller of darkness.
Oh yes, exactly.
Interesting. I'm surprised they sent Queller for you.
Why?
Just I think they tipped their hand a little bit. Queller is usually used for very important things, and frequently the Empire has been trying to treat you as if you are unimportant, while actually believing that you are important. Perhaps that's a sign that their subterfuge is nearing an end. I don't know.
Yeah. You said that they may have had a hand in the chosen few business, or they might not have.
It's hard to tell.
I mean, this would make me think that maybe they don't have a hand in it if they actually believe we're important.
When you are stupid enough to mess around with time, a byproduct of that is that sometimes you end up making things be more important than they are, and you don't always know. And it's very stupid.
What time have they messed around with recently? I mean, recently, as in, I don't know what that means in this context. But...
Neither do I. And that's one of the problems with freaking time magic. It's the freaking worst. We don't fully know, but we know that they've been jumping into your planet's history, or they were jumping into your planet's history. They haven't, as far as we know, recently. Your planet has our planet really has a long history. How is it, by the way?
The planet?
Yes. Is it?
Apparently there's a civil war in my home area.
Yes, but the planet itself, is it beautiful?
Yes.
You're
Little
the
dry.
scientist.
What?
You're the scientist.
Yes, among other things. Extreme angler would work fine too.
I'm not allowed back due to an oath.
What oath?
I am not allowed to inform you due to the same oath. But
Now, wait a second. What is your actual position with regard to us? Are you our ally? Are you an enemy of the Empire?
I am an enemy of the Empire if the Empire is an enemy of the planet. I am an ally of the planet. And as long as you are allied with the planet, I am allied with you. I was once a protector of the planet. And maybe I still am in a different way.
But an exile.
I do a pretty good job of protecting the planet from here.
Yeah, yes. No, I'm not calling that into question, but you cannot go back. You just said that, yes?
Yes.
To whom did you make this oath, if I may ask? Perhaps you can answer that.
An interesting question. It was a binding oath to several people, some of whom I am friends with, some of whom I have fallen out with since. The reasons for it were good. Speak again?
Is it the Grand Accord?
No, the Grand Accord is way too recent. This was several thousand years ago.
Oh, right. Illumina wasn't around then, was she?
No.
No. Okay.
I did have a question about Quell. If he was offering to, I believe, bring us there in a ship of some kind. But he doesn't. Or does he travel, or would he travel on a ship, or would he be able to just travel instantly to back to capital if he chose to?
I would have to ask one of my people about Quell to know that exactly. Bale? She turns to Balethal, and Bale looks at her and says, "Yes, my love." And she says, she sighs a little bit internally. Could you go ask someone about that? Sure. And Bale just like walks out the door.
Fascinating.
Don't read too much into our internal politics. Despite what some dragons may believe, we are really the same as you. Having once been one of you, I would know this.
Celexa is, of course, because of her background, she has a gift for perceiving the inner workings of like bureaucracies and things like that.
Absolutely. Is there a role associated with that, or do we just get some information here?
I can't. It's been so long since we've used it. Should I just like make an insight check or something?
Yeah, make an insight check at advantage.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. What do you want to know? So yeah, what's going on here? Let's see. What I'll say. I mean, I'm just gonna lay bare some of the things that I've been implying rather than like whatever. She is clearly the leader and the definitive leader of the Dragon Watch. But that doesn't mean there aren't factions within it that are pushing for different things. They've got separatist factions as well as like other factions, and her recent decision to ally with the Grand Accord in particular has caused her some internal strife in her own organization. There's a lot of people who are like, no, we're better off not being part of the Grand Accord and instead just protecting the planet because we don't really care about the Grand Accord, do we? And she's like, yes, we like it when people strive. So that's sort of going on there. Her relationship with Balethal is romantic in nature. They care deeply about each other. They have sort of a relationships, it turns out, change if you've been in love with the same person for 8,000 years. So they've been they've had ups and downs, of course, but basically they've got that comfort of 8,000 years. And then her reluctance was because some of the people who work for her, she seems very direct to you. She seems very like, this is what's going on. She doesn't always have the ability to tell you straight what's going on, sometimes because of oaths or whatever, or various problems. But she really dislikes spies, backdoors. She gets the necessity, but holy God, is she like, she is a person who wants to like walk up to you and say, "Hi, you suck," and then kill you with a breath weapon. You know, like that's what she wants to do. And the fact that she has to be political is like, it's probably the most agonizing thing for her on some level, but she knows that it'd be better if it was her in charge than anyone else. If that makes sense. Does that give you good
Yeah,
info?
for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, so the person she was asking, there was some kind of tension or distaste,
Yes.
or discomfort in. Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
Yes, thank you.
Balethal returns pretty quickly, and on his heels, a also very, very old black dragon comes in. And the black dragon comes in, and they look around and they say, "Ah, so this is the chosen few. Greetings, I am Ixamata, and I can tell you about Queller if you have questions. You wanted to know about his magical prowess?"
Yes, we had the displeasure, I suppose, of meeting um, meeting Quella recently, and uh, may encounter them again soon.
Mhm.
What can you tell us about them?
Well, they certainly have much magical capability and certainly could transport themselves, since that was your original question. But much like one of you, they would have to know that it was a day that they wanted to transport themselves. And it's not impossible, but it can be exhausting, and some people prefer to travel via ship. I would be wary of them, though. They certainly have lots of magical powers, and one of the things they have that can be perhaps the most annoying, and Ixamata looks at um, it looks at Nova directly when they say this, and they say is uh, they have a drain, a constant drain that just sucks the life out of things that are close to it at regular intervals.
Well, that sounds just as unpleasant as I expected based on our brief meeting.
Yes, I think that is fair. It is quite the awful creature in many ways. Less person anymore. Dedicated himself to the whole religious. And at that point, Asha cuts it off and says, "That's enough, Ixamata. You can leave now." "Of course, I'll be right outside if you need anything, Asha." And Ixamata like hunches over and crawls out of the room. And as the door closes, Asha just sort of furrows her brows and says, "I am sorry for Icky." They're not
No,
that bad. They just sound creepy. They're not actually creepy.
no apology necessary. We had to make, we've had to rely on all kinds of friends and allies.
Yes.
Asha, we're soon going to be going into the seat of power of the Empire. And I asked about the chosen few because I don't think we understand exactly why they want the five of us to appear in exchange for freeing an entire planet. I think it's not clear what our bargaining chips are, or what pressures we can bring to bear, other than if we are going to make some sort of surprise aggressive play once we arrive there.
Mm. They will certainly want you alive.
This isn't some kind of weird ritual thing, is it?
I don't, not to my knowledge, no. I thought that you had done what they wanted. The fact that they have continued interest in you is what gives me pause. I presumed that what they wanted was merely the taking down of the covering. Because of their desire for the planet. Or rather, the heart of the planet.
Who would know more about these like fortune telling things? Who would know more about these prophecies?
The best way to understand prophecy is to ignore it, but the second best way to understand prophecy is to understand the past. And I think that's where we're going to take a brief break. Back in 10, guys. apparently it's lore day here at Sagas of the Shimmering Seas. We're revealing secrets of the universe now. We went from, you know, whatever to whatever to whatever, and now we're like, oh, let's unfold the secrets of the universe. Okay, fine. So that's what we're gonna do today. And yeah, that's that. As always, I like to take a moment at the top of the second part of the show to encourage you, yes, you, to think about your place in the world. We are all situated within it, and we are all connected to things within it. And you know, there's a lot of things that suck in it a lot. And if you can find a way to alleviate some of that suckage, that is a good thing. I don't know what that looks like for you. There's a lot of different ways of doing that, but I really, really think that you should think about how you want to go about doing that. Sometimes maybe that's donating to a cause or you believe in. Maybe that's being a good friend to someone when they need it. Maybe it's just doing something positive for the world as a whole. Planting a tree. I don't know. There's something out there that you could do that would make a difference to someone's life, and I think that you should do it if you can. It's hard to be a person, and if you can help people with their personhood, then you're making it easier for them to forge for themselves a human soul, and that's a good thing. So consider doing that. Also, we have another show on this channel, but sadly, not for long. They have their finale episode this Thursday. We are going to be saying goodbye in getting epilogues for all of our favorite characters over on the Hidden Tomb of Akarut. And also at the end of all campaigns, I do a question and answer period. Sometimes people have lots of questions. Sometimes people don't have lots of questions. I have no idea what they'll have, but either way, any question that they have, I will be answering. So spoiler warning. But if you're watching the stream, you're about to get more spoilers than they would get anyway. So, you know, whatever. All good things. That's actually, I have no idea if that's true or not, but that's okay. Back to it. So, Asha, giant silver dragon, scales like worn around the knuckles of the claws and in the elbows, and I think just sort of like very down, but physically. You know, wings curled up on the back, folded up, so like almost looks flat like a log. Her arms are like, you know, like very underneath her, and she is like lying on the ground. Her belly is rubbing on the ground, and it's not that rounded belly. She's pretty flat. She almost looks a little bit like more like a log than like the big round dragon things that we typically see in whatever. She's very compact, but she is huge, so using the word compact is a little weird, but it's appropriate here. And one of her hands just sort of crawls in front of her a little bit, scratching, a little bit scraping, and she twiddles her claws, and with that a light show starts, and the light show mirrors the story that she tells. And she says, I am old, but this story took place long before I even came into existence, long before even the dragons existed. Long ago, there was a people. They were known as the Oricon. We think that is what they called themselves, but this is so long ago that we are not entirely certain. She shows you an image of an Oricon. They are humanoid, but everything is a little bit longer, and you realize that every part of their body, where we would expect one joint, they have two. Where we would expect 3 joints, they have 4. They have just like, and their hair tends to be long, and they've got like shock white, not like blonde, but like shock white hair in the center, and then it turns dark as it goes down. Very starburst effect. And the Oricon, as far as we know, were the first peoples to travel throughout realm space. But the Oricon were alone. They wanted other peoples to chat with, to trade with, to open their minds. And one that seemed to have real potential from their perspective. These creatures were intelligent. They were smart, they were cunning, but they had not mastered travel. But they had societies and civilizations, and the Oricon presumed that these people would make a good match, that they could travel the stars with them. And so they gave these people access to flight. They showed them how it was done. These people looked like a cross between a scorpion and an eel. And she then generates a picture, and they were called the Nyogi. For a while, it seemed to the Oricon, the two societies were doing well. The Nyogi traveled the stars and learned with them and discovered and unraveled the secrets of life itself. But the Oricon were blind. The Nyogi were not traveling companions. They, having been shown the stars, explored elsewhere. They found the only word we can use to describe it is a hole in realm space. And through that hole, it led to a secret location where color is everything and no living creature can survive. But the Nyogi found it, and in the color, they found things worthy of worship from their perspective. And once they had gotten as much as the Oricon could give them, they rebelled. They brought the Oricon to their knees. During this time, between these two moments, the Oricon and even, yes, the Nyogi, they found other species and tried to build them up. But the Nyogi rebellion was against all the species. We don't know exactly what happened, nor do we know exactly why. But somehow a last alliance was formed that was meant to destroy the Nyogi, expel them from realm space itself. They created a thing, a magical artifact or substance. Now we know it as Earth's blood. But they used it not as a fuel, but as a weapon. This experimentation was vile and evil, and the Oricon were so disgusted by what they had done with it that many of them banished themselves far away. Together, the Oricon and their last alliance of the lesser races, they built a massive, massive weapon. And they used that to banish the Nyogi. And the Nyogi were expelled from realm space itself. but their colorful gods offered them refuge. And they started to live outside the borders of reality itself. And it was at this moment that the Oricon pledged never again to interfere with a species' development, never again to interfere, to offer things. It was seen as them raising the Nyogi only to have the Nyogi become the greatest threat to all life itself. This weapon that they made, this Earth's blood weapon that they made that expelled the Nyogi, it was dangerous, it was volatile, it was powerful, and it could not be dismantled or destroyed. And so they built a cage around it. Something they intended to be a cage around it, at least. And that cage, you now know, is Isaim. The Oricon wanted a new way of existing, a new path forward. And so some species were brought here to see how they would in fact develop. Some of the Oricon even founded their own society on the planet as well, so that they could closely examine the development of the other peoples. And thus the planet of Isaim was made and seeded with populations as experiments. What the Oricon did not foresee was that this weapon, which lay at the center of the planet, would end up as a source of much power and would be desired. Beings came into existence. First the dragons, and then what you call gods. They're really just people who understand how to manipulate the Earth's blood, how to use it to channel worship into power. Thus was your planet born. The Empire, of course, was far outside this. They were a lesser race at the time of the Great War with the Nyogi, at least as far as we can determine. And they were on the side of the Oricon, but the truth is that they were a large race that had many different factions that believed many different things. And so some worship of the Nyogi and their colorful gods still exists within the Empire today. And it is that worship that we fear is ascendant. For if the Nyogi return, that would be difficult for everyone. Who knows how they've changed beyond the rim. Pardon me, I got lost in my thoughts. Does that answer some things?
Does Earth's blood exist elsewhere other than Isaim?
Yes, but in small pockets. Isaim is by far the largest amount of concentrated Earth's blood ever.
Does that mean that the god that the Empire worships, this prism, is reliant then on Earth's blood from Isaim?
Currently, yes.
Is there a distinction between the Earth blood and just a massive amount of it? and the actual weapon?
I'm not fully certain I understand, but
You said they created
the Earth's blood that you use is leaking from the heart of your planet, which is what was used to banish them from realm space.
I guess
The
what I
heart
meant
of
was,
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
No, please.
You said that they created incredibly powerful weapon, and that Isaim is just essentially a cage for a whole lot of Earth's blood. Is the amount of Earth's blood itself the power that comprises the weapon, or is there an actual physical weapon?
It is also a focus that allows it to direct itself, to aim itself, to point itself. Yes.
Is the weapon able to be used without destroying the planet?
No. Sorry, I should clarify. Not as far as I know. I don't want to.
So, what role did Illumina have before her disappearance in the fight against the Nyoki?
The Nyogi, yes. It is. I don't know everything, despite my years of study and practice and everything. My knowledge of Illumina is more recent. My experience with her is that she is a daughter of the Empire in rebellion, but she seems to be more than that and has more relations than that. She, I think, may be someone who understands Earth's blood in some ways, and so is tapping into other things. The Empire, we know, has tapped into time magic nonsense. It's possible that she has inserted herself throughout history. Yes.
So if the princess is in rebellion, does that mean that her the emperor or empress
Empress.
empress would not be in support of what she's doing?
The Empress, the current Empress, is old and weak and dying. And for all intents and purposes, High Princess Allura is the Empress currently. The Illumina Starborn should have been Empress, but obviously abdicated.
And how do we fit in? How do we fit into there's some kind of prophecy about all this? What are we supposed to do?
Yeah, we're still figuring that all out. Obviously, that's what's going on here. But on some level, we believe that the Empire used some degree of their time travel to go back in time to manipulate the Oricon that traveled to your planet and became part of your planet, or rather, as you know them, the Kava, to shift their perspectives to believe in prophecy in the future, in one who would, in a collection of 5 individuals that would come and change their society for the better, so that their society would be subject to change. It may have just been an input of chaos, but the truth of the matter is we don't fully understand or know much about their ways in terms of prophecy and how they make stuff come true or not. I've never been one to put such much stock in prophecy. There was once a prophecy about me that, well, I was supposed to be murdered by the goddess of murder, and I instead took that idiot down. Because, why not?
Yes, I believe Baal once bragged about striking the goddess of murder in the face.
Yes. If I remember correctly, 7 times in 6 seconds. Yes. Just bam, 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 right in the face. She had just murdered his father. So, vengeance. Powerful motivator. Sorry, back to you.
We heard from another source that our best bet in fighting the Empire would be to undermine its religion. I wonder now if our ultimate enemy is the more dangerous foe is actually the Nyogi, and the Empire might be currently only under the thumb of the Empress or the Princess. You said the Empire was once actually on the side of the originators. What are
The
names?
Oricon, yes. Yes, you are not necessarily wrong. It certainly would be ideal to not uh, to shift them away from these negative perspectives and impulses. Obviously, how deep does it go? That's always the question. How do you change people's minds on such a scale? Also, just to be candid from my own perspective, it's not like the Empire hasn't invaded many planets and taken over many planets. I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't, but would you forgive the Empire for what they've done on Dregma?
No.
My point.
I'm still feeling a bit hung up on how trying to understand how reliant the Empire is on ECM. Clearly, like they needed the covering to come down.
Yes, they needed it to come down.
Was that did that allow their god to become more powerful? I'm not even sure. I don't know if it dwells in a particular place. If it draws power from, or if it relies on Earth's blood, does it reside on ECM? I don't even know. I don't quite understand that.
Their gods are in the color outside of space. We think the Prism god, as you know, them is we think a masquerade for their gods, someone who is for the gods of the Nyogi, and so that is its own whole thing, I guess. We think the Prism god is we think the Prism god is sort of a fake god that they use, that is actually the Nyogi in disguise, or the Nyogi's gods in disguise, or maybe it's the Nyogi's god. We don't fully know, but on some level, they wanted the covering down so that they could access Isai. Now, on some level, we think that is because of the resources that Isai provides, namely Earth's blood. Whether they also crave to activate the weapon and poke a hole in realm space again, that this time they could use the weapon in a way to widen it so that it would allow the Nyogi back into realm space, that is absolutely a possibility as well. But as of right now, the only thing they're doing that we've been able to determine they're doing is smuggling illegal amounts of Earth's blood to the Empire.
There's a place where we were able to see these gods. Do you know the place that I'm talking about?
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're referring to.
In the in the sea, a small island. I'm wondering. I wonder. There was a portal of some kind through a table that.
How did you see that?
Sorry.
How did you see that?
Fishport.
Fishport, yes.
Fishport, yes, exactly.
I'm sorry. I'm just.
We touched a table.
She touched it first.
I touched a table.
It was Nova's fault. We told her not to.
Did you?
Asha looks like dumbfounded for a second, and then says, you know who this would have been maybe 4 weeks after the covering fell? Were you 3 or 4 weeks after the covering
That
fell?
sounds about right. Yes.
There was a conference of greater beings to discuss the fate of Isaim. We held it on Isaim in the middle of the Shimmering Seas. I was there in silver robes.
Oh, do you remember me?
No.
Weird.
Yes. I wasn't fully there, of course. I was. I'm not allowed on the planet, but an Avatar was there, so I guess I could have missed something. But I would have expected to have seen you if you were there.
Who was it that I talked to? Was it like a death shrouded person?
I feel like death. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
That's
You watched a prism and a tree and 5 hooded figures. There was a shell. There was a bowl with salt water that was on fire, and there was a silver dragon, or an illusory silver dragon.
So who was it that I talked to? It was someone with like dark robes or something, right?
Yes. Yeah. You talked to someone with dark robes, who made you reappear in a made you all reappear in a white throne room. And her name was Avira. And she didn't really tell you much. But if you want to ask about that, you're welcome to.
Oh yeah, I remember. Their name was Avira.
Interesting. I'm not certain what to do with that information. She let you see this? She let you see the experience there? She let you be there?
Kind of pulled us to the side, but we saw some of it. What did you decide, by the way? You deciding the fate of Isaim? What was this decision?
We put a stop to the conversation, told them to fuck off. If they want to come, then they should, come. We're not just going to give them Isaim. They want it too badly.
But by them, do you mean the Empire or the gods or somebody else? I'm confused.
Ownership is always messy, right? If you worship a god, does that god own you? That god probably thinks so. I hate gods. So yes, is that the fair answer? The prism, there are several gods in the Empire. Avira is one of them, by the way. Just to be clear, she's not on your side, as far as I can determine. But they've got several different deities of various sorts, and they all wanted this. I don't know what's going on over there. They're crazy, weird, and all over the place, and it's hard to read everything that they do, and they hide their actions and they mask them, and they.
If the covering were restored, it seems it might deprive the Empire of their power, or a significant amount of it.
Yes, that was in fact part of the idea. The hope was that the Empire's power would wane under the covering. So
what would happen to you here on the is the moon included in the covering or not?
No, we are outside it. Your smaller moon is inside of it.
So
We are.
So you would be cut off again from Isaim if it were to go up.
Yes.
How would you feel about that?
Personal sadness, but professional pride. If that makes sense.
Is there a way to put the covering back up?
Not to my knowledge.
Well, I mean, I don't know much of anything outside of my field of study, but you said that there was some time magic nonsense.
True.
Not to render our past, year.
We're not going back in time and changing history. Oh my God. No. 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 No.
No,
No.
of course not. No,
No.
that would be foolish.
No.
No. No.
No.
Yeah, of course not.
Do any of you understand how bad an idea this is? Psychic assassin lady, you get this is a bad idea? Please tell me you get this is a bad idea.
I mean, we step on one bug the wrong way, and then, we don't have arms anymore.
But we were the ones who stepped on the bug.
Yeah, some of us thought it was a good idea to take down the covering.
Yes, I know, and this could be the ultimate way to set the path straight.
Just so you
If
know.
he starts becoming friendly with the Sphinx, kill the Sphinx. Okay. Just do it. No questions asked. Just kill the Sphinx.
It went up once. It went up once. Why couldn't it go up again?
The covering was a good idea in some sense, but it was a very dangerous one. They tapped into the weapon at the heart of the planet and used that to generate its own covering. The weapon at the heart of the planet is volatile, though, and if it was used even the teensiest bit wrong, then it would have just wiped out everything on ECs.
Oh, we know all about how volatile Earth's blood is. Nova pulls out her other sword.
Yes, I see.
So there's nobody left.
And then she looks at it and she says, "You realize you have another. Do you realize? Don't swing that sword in here.
No. She puts it back.
You've got another earthquake stored in it.
Cool.
Just so you know.
All right. Good to know.
So there's nobody left who could manipulate the weapon as was done before to create the covering. Nobody has that.
I don't think they had it at the time. They just got lucky. It's like, this isn't true, of course, but imagine if every circumstance in the universe had like a 1 in 20 chance of just randomly succeeding every once in a while.
Like a roll of the die?
Exactly. Right. Like a 5% chance. And like for the covering to work, they had to roll that 5% chance like 4 times in a row.
So you're saying there's a chance.
And anything other than that would have led to the absolute destruction of all of Isaim.
It does sound risky.
Are you saying that like what we witnessed and interrupted, like the majority of the it was probable that would have gone wrong, or the maintenance of it?
Maintenance is always easier than enacting.
Okay.
Maintenance you don't have to deal with the source itself. You can deal with the things around the source, right? It's
Sure.
like if you're wearing a like if like let me think of a weird metaphor here, because I would use a weird metaphor here. Imagine you're wearing imagine all of your skin is on fire constantly.
Oh,
okay?
I can imagine that.
Okay, great. So if all of your skin is on fire constantly, right, that would feel bad. And like, but if we're trying to light if you're trying to light yourself on fire, you're going to feel bad as you do that. But if you want to like reach in and grab the fire and expand the fire, that's actually quite easy because you don't have to touch the skin itself.
Oh, how do you do that?
How trained in magic are you?
Not.
Oh.
But I can do this. Nova hits herself and lights on fire.
I am more a cold person than a hot one, but are you looking to expand that utility of that ability?
Yeah.
Bale, could you they met Ixamata earlier. If you could bring Nova back to Iki, that would be ideal. Bale nods.
As a point of order, point of clarification, I suppose. You said that the Nyogi were banished from all of reality.
Yes.
You say that with such confidence, but we've been around one. At least
Banished from all of reality is sorry, legally speaking, they cannot come back except under pain of death, and also like it's very difficult for them to come back. But absolutely, some powerful Nyogi have been able to sneak through, break back into realm space. We've seen some manipulating people from different angles. They tend to be operating very secretly now. They seem to have learned from losing a war that sometimes war is not the best option. Wherever there is someone who is evil or doing evil things, particularly I would say on Isaim, look for a Nyogi behind them.
Yeah, this tracks.
Can they be followed?
Followed to where?
To where they're exiled.
Asha like rears back a little bit, and this is the first time she's like curled up, doing like sort of cat-like posture for a second, and like looks at you like I was like you once, an adventurer, and so I've learned from my own experiences that whenever someone says something is impossible, adventurers will find a way to test that. So from that perspective, and from that perspective alone, I won't say that it's impossible, but it's impossible. Does that make sense?
No, but thank you anyways.
The space outside of realm space is ever shifting, ever changing. It's formless and colorless. My understanding from a report that I received is that you once fought a color monster. What was that experience like for you?
Kind of beautiful.
Kind of fun.
Okay, now imagine that literally instead of air, there was just that.
My sword would love it.
Yes, it would. Ruin, right?
Yep.
Ruin was made to fight the Nyogi in the war.
I'm thinking about how we flew here on a ship, and the ship has had a like a gravity plane and a bubble of air. I wonder, is that something that could exist in the in this sort of outside of space, where a protective bubble.
Our experience is that people who go into she like rolls her eyes for a second. Our scientist, who calls it the phlogiston because they have to give it a freaking name, has said that like the air bubble protective sphere gets diminished at an exponentially increasing rate, and then more you'd have to find a way to protect it in some sort. I'm so befuddled by this. I never considered this as a possibility. Even the idea of directly interacting with the Nyogi, they are so evil and destructive. She like looks befuddled. And like roll an insight check for me, actually. Alexa.
Can I assist?
Sure. I'll allow an assistance. Alexa, roll that at advantage. And tell me what you get, because apparently I lost my roll 20. Oh, there it is.
Thank you for that assistance, Nova. That's a 25.
Nice.
Instead of a 10.
Yeah. Asha has been so focused on protecting the planet that she never once in her 8,000 years considered going offensive. And that might work on some level. So she's like, and she's kind of annoyed at herself right now for having never even considered that possibility. So is like she's trying to work out the implications, but is kind of like uncomfortable with them and doesn't really quite know what to do there. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I it's hard to think of going to Capital, walking knowingly into a trap, and not having a an ace up our sleeve, or not having a not even knowing what they're planning, and not having a way to subvert their expectations. I guess somehow the only thing I think could be better would be doing something they don't expect.
You remind me of a friend of mine from long ago. She was very annoying, but brave, and yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense. I don't know what to say beyond that.
Well, should we like take stock of our options and think about what we want to do next?
That seems like a good plan.
Just a question about
Please.
the weapon. So you said it is activated through thought or through focus?
Yes.
Is there an actual like steering wheel somewhere, or like a place people have to be to use it?
I hope you can understand how reluctant I am, why I would be reluctant to give anyone that information.
Of course.
Okay. I'm going to choose not to answer you because I do not trust you.
Fair enough.
It's in the kava, isn't it?
But if we were able to block off that area, or
it is well protected.
Or what if we even destroyed that?
It might cause the weapon to explode.
Okay, then never mind.
You have to understand that a lot of our interest has been in like protecting the planet.
Have we thought about lying?
To whom about what?
What if we go to the princess and we tell her that we've learned how to harness the weapon's power?
It's not even entirely a lie.
Best kind of lie.
To what end?
So that she doesn't kill us and that she backs off from Isaim. In which way is it not a lie?
Oh, the weapon's power seeps out into your very beings and your lives. Some of you have powers that literally came from the weapon without whether you realize it or not.
Oh, is that the moon's thing? Like the why I have fire and why Thea has that brain thing and
Part of that, but also even more basic things. Many of you are sorcerers. Many of your sorcerer's magic comes from the heart of the planet. Or also psionic powers tend to come from the heart of the planet, or deific powers tend to come from the heart of the planet, or lots of things. There's other ways of doing these effects as well, but most of the people on Isaim that have particular significance of power, it in some way is related to or comes from the heart of the planet. Even your warlock friend here, who admittedly is also a bard, but her patron is someone who is from the heart of the planet. Oh, are you keeping that secret? I don't realize that what people keep secret sometimes.
It hardly seems like it even rates on the scale of urgent conversations right now.
Fair.
yeah, Celexa never keeps secrets.
Yeah, she's an open book.
Can Earth's blood be neutralized or contaminated?
Yes.
Would that
Certainly contaminated is quite possible, but it is volatile. So finding the right way to contaminate it without causing the contamination to itself become exacerbated, But yes, theoretically.
Are you thinking of flooding the flooding Isaim with citrine algae, mixing with the earth's blood?
I don't know that would. I mean, that would contaminate it, but I don't think in a useful way.
I didn't know if there was a useful way. I just thought you were, kind of riffing on ideas and.
Well, just like you take like an acid and a base, and they can like cancel each other out or something, right? I don't know, not my branch of science, but they like you add baking soda to counter things, right? Like I don't know, perhaps there's some compound we can use to just get rid of the Earth's blood, and then that neutralizes the weapon. And
The thing
I
we
don't know.
found that's closest to that is soulwood, which blocks Earth's blood but doesn't really neutralize it.
Hmm.
But I'm sure it wouldn't surprise me if there is something.
Well, and then what happens to Isaim if
It'll
the
become slightly less magical, which could be bad or good.
and if the Empire is still retains much of their power, we might have less ability to resist them
True.
by throwing away the power, the one weapon we have.
Well, it seems to me like you have a lot to think about. And also, if I'm not mistaken, you have a space near the wellspring in Abarak that you wish to crawl through relatively soon. So I'd love to get you there, and then perhaps while you are doing, instead of forcing a decision to be made right at this moment, sometimes I find that when I was in a dungeon, I actually had more time to think, because it would, even though only several hours would pass during a crawl through a dungeon, in reality, it would feel like weeks would have passed, and I had plenty of time to think. So, I didn't have to react so immediately. So perhaps we bring you there, and then from there you figure out what you want to do next. Does that sound reasonable?
Do we have time to do the wellspring and then
Well,
reply to our quell friend?
maybe we
mean-
can send a message or an emissary. Didn't what did Narasha's mom she was going to come with us, right? Did
Yeah.
she go? She came
Yes.
with us to the
Yeah,
Greater
she came
Court
with
at
us.
least.
Yes,
Okay,
and has
okay.
been there, and I just have not narrated because
No, it's fine. There's been
she's
a lot going
doing
on.
she's been doing diplomatic stuff with Ara Lightpath. Ara did not come with you to meet Asha. Ara wants to come with you to meet the Empire, but she's doing diplomatic stuff with Narasha's mom right now to sort of negotiate a treaty between Dregma and us, and also trade agreements, assuming everything works out, and then potentially even folding Dregma into the Grand Court, having our second omelet.
Perhaps we could ask her. We could get a message to her and
Mm.
ask her to send an emissary to Quell with a date.
Absolutely, yeah,
it would be
that's very viable.
it would be kind of satisfying to just not even bother to show up in person and just send
I love you, Slex.
send an email. But if does that make sense? How much time would we want? How far do you think?
3 days earlier.
Yeah, 3 days feels good.
Okay. And so we tell him that we will arrive. We will meet him on Dregma in 3 days.
Nice not to reveal that you could teleport to the Royal Palace.
And if he is expecting to fly in a ship on that day, then maybe that will influence the magic that's available to him.
It's true. Whatever they expect to do will be what they prepare for. And if you can manipulate people so that they are not expecting that they're doing what they're not expecting to do, then you will always have an advantage. That's basic rule of wizard combat. I once had to kill my father, and that's how I did it.
I guess one thing that we have going for us with the Empire is they seem to think that we're not smart enough to that we're not smart enough to deceive them, or that we're.
Yes, I'll be very curious how the Empire reacts to you in person. So far, we've only seen them interact with you largely at a distance, and they like to claim a lot of credit for your actions. Which is interesting. Since you don't think of yourselves as aligned with the Empire, obviously. Yeah, I didn't think so.
It hasn't. Well, yeah, we did. Thea and I did have that chat with with Princess Allura that one time.
Yes. I think I got a note about that at one point. Very well. Well, perhaps that's what we should do then, and you guys can think about what you want to do. But we'll send a note through Arasha's mother to, the Queller of Darkness, and the Queller of Darkness will sit around and twiddle their thumbs for a couple of days while you guys go past the wellspring into this little dungeon crawl thing and recover the piece of Illumina, and then have all the pieces together but the one that the High Princess has, and then you'll go there and maybe you'll threaten them, maybe you'll befriend them, maybe you'll betray us and kill everyone. I don't really know what you're going to do, but That seems like the thing to do. Also, don't betray us. If you do, I will freeze you to freezing icy cold death. You will freeze to death, and it'll be slow and painful. That sound good to everyone? Is everyone feeling relatively good about that?
Sounds great.
Great. Nova, I need you to speak with Ixamata.
That'd be great.
Would you take Nova to Ixamata? This will take a couple hours, so if any of you want to wander the grounds and chat with any of the denizens of the Dragon Watch, you should feel free to do so.
One more thing. Would it be possible for us to have a sending stone? Maybe that's not the right word.
Connected
Some
with
way
who?
to talk with you later.
Sure.
Great.
It won't get me immediately because, and I say this with great love and respect, she says sarcastically, but lots of people talking to me all the time is annoying, and adventurers have a habit of being particularly annoying. So it will be with one of my assistants, who, if they can solve your problem, will solve your problem, and if not, they will bring you to me.
We get it. You have office hours.
Exactly.
Yes.
A professor, right? Yes, I used to be a teacher, so I have some sympathetic. I have some understanding there. It's a time I ran a school for magic for a while.
No dumb questions, right?
There are lots of dumb questions. Also, dumb statements, as evidenced by that one.
Fair.
She she nods and then like curls up into a little ball. And by little I do mean like, 20 feet size ball. And Bale comes over and just sort of taps Nova on the shoulder and says, if you'd like to come with me, I'll bring you over to Ixamata. And yeah. And he brings you over to Ixamata, and Ixamata talks to you and says, you wish to speak with me?
Yes. I heard that you are the dragon to talk to about expanding this. And Nova hits herself on the shoulder and bursts into flame.
Expand how?
Bigger or more deadly would be great.
Also more control, perhaps?
Sure.
Have you any magical training?
No.
Then this is going to suck. But we can get you there. And he starts like shouting at you as a drill sergeant and teaching you to do things. And some of it feels so stupid and pointless, and like a lot of it's stuff that you're like naturally good at, but you don't see quite how it connects things. Like, I mean, like he just says, okay, drop and give me 40 push-ups, like it's like physical activity and whatnot. And like every once in a while he'll just say, now freeze. And you'll stop where you are, and he'll say, now close your eyes and focus on how that feels. Focus on that feeling. And before too long, like over the next couple hours, he trains you and how to use this stuff. And we are going to grant you Ixamata's boon, which first of all is going to increase the die size to a D6, and also will allow you to cast both the Control Flames cantrip and the Firebolt cantrip as if you were a 5th level wizard, which is not great, but it's certainly not as powerful as your fighter abilities. But on the other hand, you now have some fire abilities to go with your fighter abilities. And Ixamata says, good work. That's all we can probably get reasonably for now, but if you come back at a later time, they tell me, then we can maybe see about expanding it even more.
Great, thank you so much. And Nova goes over and shakes his hand.
And like Ixamata's claw like is big, and so like it tries to grab your hand, but actually like grabs around your hand, wrist, and elbow, and like shakes your whole arm. And then like he like starts squeezing and says, where's the fire? Yeah. And he takes it and like, that's what I'm talking about. Asha will never teach you fire. She's always been an ice person.
Yes.
Ice dragon, non-person. She used to be an ice person.
A nice person?
No, ice person. She was never.
Oh, okay.
She was never a nice person. Ever. Oh my god. So annoying.
I bet you have all kinds of stories.
I remember when she first came to the school, she was such this, like, here she was, the daughter of the schoolmaster, and she like showed up with this huge chip on her shoulder and just chewed everyone out, and then she killed her father in front of everyone in a ritualized duel because she thought he was evil. And then she's like, come on, we've got to go save the world. Whole thing.
Wizard school.
Yes. She's not a good wizard. She's a sorceress who likes to pretend that she's a wizard.
Yeah, because wizards are cool.
Yeah. And like, if you ask me, she beat her father by cheating. Just saying. Okay. Anyone have anything they want to do on the moon?
I think before Timothy leaves the amphitheater,
Mhm.
he will go up to Asha and say, "Thank you for your all of your information. I was taking notes. I don't know if you noticed, but I have this sketchbook here. You know."
Yes, I saw that. I approve. It's always good to be thorough in your knowledge of things and study things thoroughly.
Yes, I agree. But on the subject of notes, I know you miss Earth, so I just thought I have some sketches, mostly of flora and fauna, but I thought maybe you'd like to see some of them. I'm sorry. Isaim, not Earth. Isaim.
Her whole expression softens, and she holds out a claw. Her claw, by the way, just for scale, like her hand is larger than you. You're like finger sized for her. And she holds it out to just look at it. She takes your book and she holds it close to herself. And she very carefully starts turning the pages. And you notice that she's not actually touching the pages as she turns them. She's like holding her claws apart and then casts like a little tiny spell to turn the pages carefully.
Oh, you seem like a very good wizard.
Yes. Magic is magic. It's very useful.
Yep.
These are beautiful.
I think so too. Do you like that one? That's a catfish.
I do.
Oh, and that one's from Dragma. Apparently they go noodling.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Have you this may seem like an odd question. But have you seen a black and white cat that talks in any of your journeys?
Yes. Yeah. We have, in fact.
What was their name?
This cat you're thinking about? Another cat?
The cat with the beholder?
No, not that cat, right? That cat didn't talk.
That cat didn't talk.
Masha's cat was the one.
Masha's cat.
Masha's cat was the one that talked.
Reverse cow.
No,
That's the beholder one.
Oh.
The beholder cat talked because you guys talked to it. Masha's cat talked because Masha's cat could talk. But whatever, you say it's Masha's cat, and tell Asha Masha's cat's name, which I've currently forgotten.
Yes. Masha's cat. He very opinionated.
No. Not who I'm looking for.
Oh,
Sorry, you have the sort of spirit that she would be drawn to. And I've been missing her for a long time.
Is it your pet or your friend?
Friend. She takes on the guise of a cat, but actually she's not really a cat.
Well, I'll keep an eye out and I'll say hi to her if I see her for you.
If you do, tell her that I miss her and that I'm sorry and that, like always, she was right.
I will pass that on and I will not ask for more information, respectfully.
Her name is Brina. Don't just say this to a random cat. Okay. Nevertheless. Very well. Thank you for these drawings. May I and you have one drawing in there. I think it's for you was a drawing of a localized ecosystem or whatever, and so it's like, but it's like of a tide pool area with like water and everything, and like this little bit of light glittering on it, and it's totally scientifically practical, but I think it's also like oddly really kind of romantically beautiful in a weird sense. And I think she like rests on this page and she just sort of asks, can I keep this?
Of course, that's of my home area, so that I got it all here.
This is where you're from?
Celestra, yes.
It is beautiful. Treasure it.
I do.
And she just like carefully uses the spell to rip out this one page and then hands you back your journal. And I think that's where we're going to end the session. And I think next week we're going to gloss over the travel and just jump straight into Dundercrawl. We had a whole talkie session. We're going to go right back the other way. And that's the plan. So everyone, thank you all so much for watching. Oh, shoot, I forgot to do Exp. Obviously, lore drop episode. So Exp, I'm betting a little lower. But we'll find out right now. We do have a learn things X bump, so let's check that out. Someone says, screw classwork, let's watch. Hi, Sarah. We like you. Okay, let's see what we got here. Did you strengthen, help, or guide the Grand Accord and its allies for the better? I'm going to go with no. We learned about it. We learned more. We can use this to strengthen, help, or guide, but I don't think we did. Did you address a challenge in a creative or surprising fashion?
Kumi creatively used the ship's gravity to throw a grape at Cat's Grace.
I'll give you a point. Congratulations.
I approve. Think we came up with some creative solutions.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we've done them yet, but I'll give you 2 points. Let's be generous here. Seems easy to me. Yeah. Here's the big one that I think we're gonna get all the points for. Did you uncover or learn anything new about your enemies? Did you find a way to weaken your enemies in a significant way?
A couple things, maybe.
Yeah, we'll hand out a couple of points there. Did you overcome a challenge not included above?
Nova.
Yeah. Fire. Nova learned fire. Fair enough. And then did you complete your own personal guiding light? Timothy, I'll ask you first.
No, I don't think so.
Selexa.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. Thea.
I think so. We're all together and learning.
Fair enough. And Nova.
Did I throw myself into danger? Not exactly, although I did have some chats with some rather big dragons, so I don't know if that counts.
Yeah, I don't think anything was really threatening. The Dragon Watch is currently your allies.
Yeah, that's true.
If you throw yourself into like the political scheming of the dragons or whatever, then you'll get a point there. But we can also just treat them as the over there society that's basically your ally right now. Okay, then with that, we'll call that some points, and that's another good little day. Everyone, go live good and happy lives. Take care of yourself, and take care of each other. And as always, the best advice I can possibly offer you is don't forget to call your cat and feed your mom. Take care, everyone.